folks, welcome to the SmackDown podcast. We are your hosts this week, Kyle and Benji. What's up, Benji?
What up?
Not much, man. So normally, this is a new episode for our lineup. Normally we cover the main shows with WWE, Raw, SmackDown, and then the pay-per-views. But we are introducing 205 Live and NXT into the fray, man. And
it's about time. About time somebody covers 205 Live.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, maybe that's going to be our little niche spot. Benji is obviously the main inspiration for this because of he's being Mr. Encyclopedia, whatever I call you, man. But you kept telling us, that NXT and 205 Live deserve a spotlight, and so that's exactly what we're doing. We're shining that same review and recap spotlight down on these two shows, and I got to tell you, man, I'm happy I did. Boy, NXT and 205 Live delivered this week. And if you say this is the quality that they pump out week in and week out, dude, I can't wait to continue watching.
Without a fail, these guys are the most consistent out of all the square.
And what do they have in common? Triple H running the show, man.
True.
Triple H, man. If WWE's future has him at the reins, man, I can't wait. But anyways, I'd like to thank y'all for joining us. Once again, we are the SmackDown podcast. You can find us simply by searching for us on YouTube, typing in SmackDown podcast. Please do us a big favor on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe the most, please, so we can get to 100 subscribers. Then we can get our custom URL, and I can stop telling people to search in the search bar. But if you're more into the audio realm of things, we are found on Podbeam at smackdrawpod.podbean.com and on Spotify, man. Still loving the fact that we're on Spotify. I don't know, something about it makes it feel legit. Like, it's awesome.
Like you almost stepped to the next level, right?
Right, and it happened fast. I watched another podcast, and these guys were talking about getting on Spotify, and it dragged out for a couple months. They were talking about it, then they stopped talking about it altogether, and then, some time passed, and eventually they were on. We here, not to toot our own horn, we were on Spotify after just episode 5, I believe. They approved us, got us going. It's a great feeling, especially since we're all new to this. So we must have been doing something right. At least that's how it feels. You can follow us all on Twitter. You can follow us, the podcast at SmackDrawPod. You can follow RobRude, who's absent today, but he's at 2 Words Can't See Me. Myself at the Kai Tai Show. And then it's you, Benji, you're at Calavera Comedy, right?
Calavera Comedy, yes, sir.
All right, man. All right. Well, I gotta say, man, we'll go ahead and we'll dive into this. Oh shoot!
What'd you think?
I thought it was awesome, man. I'm not gonna lie. I stopped watching. I stopped watching 205 Live before Triple H took over running the show. So you had like Enzo Amore running around. He got the belt off of
Neville,
or who goes by Pac nowadays, and it sucked me out. I was like, there's no reason to watch this.
I think a lot of people were sour during that whole little era.
Yeah.
Coming in from the Cruiserweight Classic they had years ago, where all the wrestlers just let loose. I thought that 205 Live was going to be, so once you get to the main roster, you get the same status quo, the same people in charge, and they basically changed what they were doing much to blend in more with SmackDown and Raw, and that turned a lot of people off for sure the first few years.
Their style didn't separate. Like 205 Live was supposed to have that, fast-paced, high-octane style that's unique to the cruiserweights, and then they kick off the show and they wrestle the same as everybody on Raw and SmackDown. Just smaller version. It was off-putting, man.
Yeah, nobody wants that homostasis, man. You need something different. And that's what happened when Vince McMahon kind of let the reins go a little bit and let Triple H take over this. And it's been a whole nother. It's night and day when you compare those two shows, for sure.
Oh, I was able to tell. I was like, this is not the show that I was watching previously. So, once again, like I said, I'm excited to add it to my weekly lineup. But it's hard enough as it is to watch 5 hours of weekly wrestling. I just added 2 more hours to it, And I got you to thank for that, Benji, but you swear, and you know what, from what other people say, those 2 hours are probably going to beat the 5 hours that I watch anyway.
So much worth it.
Yeah. I'm all about quality over quantity, and that sounds like that's what we're in for.
Did you happen to catch the triple threat at Stomping Grounds?
Yes.
Drew Gulack, Tony Nese, Tozawa? Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I watch all the pay-per-views, so whenever they feature cruiserweights, even on the kickoff, I watch the kickoff shows, as long as my schedule doesn't conflict. And so I do catch them there.
Pretty much how we started this one off. We started with a recap of the triple threat. Obviously, Drew Gulack defeats Tony Nese and Tozawa to become the new Cruiserweight champion.
And awesome match.
Amazing match. So we start off this promo as it should be with the Cruiserweight champion, Drew Gulack.
I loved. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I love the part in the title match from Stomping Grounds where Gulack had I think Nese in like a dragon sleeper or some submission, and Tozawa hit that huge senton on top of him, and it looked so brutal. I will say one thing. So. And you'll fill me in way more, but I'm gonna put it out there right away. I'm a huge fan of Tozawa, man. I love that guy.
That's fair. That guy's amazing.
But yeah, man, go ahead and jump us into
so we start off with a promo by the champion, Mr. Catchpoint, Mr. Slickback Gulack, and he talks about how this place deserves his wrath, and he's tired of trying to build up a 205 Live. Now he's all about building up Drew Gulack, and that's what he did. And it says it doesn't matter who wins this first number one contenders match, if it's Tozawa or Tony Nese, whoever steps up is just gonna get knocked right back down.
Yeah, man. I noticed he's not doing the PowerPoint presentations anymore.
No,
I kind of like that shtick, but hey, that shtick didn't get him the belt, So whatever he's doing right now is what's working. So I'm excited, man. And I think we touched on it on another show. I love it whenever you have a submission specialist too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that earns bonus points with me right away.
So there's not a lot of submission specialists in there, but there are but the ones that are very impressive, like Jack Gallagher, who was in this first match coming up right here against Mike Kanellis. Very hard-hitting match. It starts off with a quick technical exchange between both of them. Doesn't seem like anyone has the upper hand, and at one point after a counter, Kanellis ends up with his feet prone on the shoulders of a prone Jack Gallagher, and he has his feet on his shoulder, pulling his arms back.
Oh, kind of like stretching him out, kind of like yeah.
Something you see like out of the Spanish Inquisition or something. Usually you have to pay extra for that. But anyways,
go on. So stupid.
So Jack counters. So he hunches backwards and starts bicycle kicking Kanellis in the chin. Something like out of like a Three Stooges punching bag or something.
so that was when I realized, I was like, oh, so Gallagher must be face again if he's doing this silly stuff.
Right.
Yeah, man.
It's like it was.
The dude is very
funny. It was something like you'd see out of like Three Ninjas High Noon or something like that.
No, absolutely. Oh my gosh, that guy knows how to separate himself from the pack, and you got to do that when you're his size, because he's probably like $175, $180 tops. He might not even be that big. Like,
the dude is. I don't know if you ever even seen his little short MMA career, but dude is technical as hell. He'll tap people out.
I'll have to check that out. I'm a big fan of MMA. I didn't realize that he was a legit fighter at one point.
Bellator is actually trying to convince him to come on for them.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. But
he looks like he's like a featherweight.
Yeah.
He's definitely not
light,
the smallest.
But he's technical.
He's not the smallest. That'd be like flyweight. I don't even think Bellator has a flyweight division. Anyways, let's talk WWE, not MMA.
So the match, goes on. There's a lot of back and forth. At one point, Kanellis starts getting distracted with the referee, starts getting out of his element a bit, and that ultimately that's what causes his downfall. He gets hit with a headbutt by Gallagher.
Vicious headbutt.
You could hear that, man.
Oh
that was
my
loud.
God, that clap through the arena. Gallagher, I mean, he puts it on your chest, but he does it in a vicious manner. Oh my god.
Kanellis was not happy that the refs caught him pulling the trunks of Gallagher. So he started arguing with the ref, and that's what, he gets it with the headbutt. 1, 2, 3, end of the match. Gallagher wins by pinfall. Post match,
yeah, Kanellis, so you gotta fill me in here with a little bit of backstory, because it looked like he quit. Like, it looked like he sent Maria up there.
So Kanellis for months now has been talking about how 205 Live is where the real wrestlers are at in WWE. You want real wrestlers, 205 Live. These guys are killing it in and out, and he's been being very outspoken as to how people should watch 205 Live, and he's been very critical of WWE and stuff that they've been doing with Drake Maverick. As he's supposed to be the general manager, and he's more focused on that.
And I heard the commentators touching on that too, that Maverick seemed more obsessed now with the 24/7 title than
it got
running
to a
the
point
show.
Where all three commentators basically were burying Maverick for chasing that title, which is like, now you don't know if it's real, if it's kayfabe, you don't know what's going on. But he was very visibly furious, and his wife Maria Kanellis is trying to console him or whatever. And then,
let's not downplay it. He was shouting at his wife to go back.
Telling her,
go.
I can't handle this. This is a mistake. You tell him, whatever, I'm done, and just leaves her on his own. And I'm not a married man, but I don't think you yell at your wife and leave her alone. And
she's gonna pay that receipt back later. You don't, especially in public. Oh man, you might get away with it at home, but not in public, bro. Oh
right.
God.
So then it cuts to first show. We come back and we got Drake Maverick screaming on the phone with Mike Kanellis, telling him what he did was unprofessional, unacceptable. I don't know where that storyline is going, but clearly they're playing into it. That's all that happened there. Next we have an up-and-coming star here in WWE, Humberto Carrillo versus a local talent, RobRude. This is just a standard squash match, basically.
Humberto looks like a stud, so this is a new guy to me.
Yeah, this guy, he was on it was on NXT briefly, and then they shot him up right to 205 Live within a few months. This guy is very charismatic. You see what he does in the ring. It's just very captivating. He's got the height, he's got the looks, everything that people want in WWE, and then he's very insanely talented.
So does he have a backstory? Like, do you know? It says here the local talent name was Rob Rolandbeck. Do you? I know you said you follow. I assume this guy maybe Lucha Libre, just because obviously his heritage.
Lucha Libre. He's actually the cousin of Angel Garza, which you would have seen in NXT later on.
Okay, I did catch Angel, because I thought at first I thought it was Ali. I was like, damn, what's Ali doing down here with some new LEDs? But yeah, Burrow. So this guy looks like a stud. Like, for real, this guy, like, you're gonna have to hide him from Vince, because he's a very good-looking fella, and Vince will scoop people up before they're ready, and that's one of the reasons why he will too. But no, he looks like he's got a bright future, man. For real.
So there's, as you have in wrestling families, like the Fatus or the Guerreros. He comes from the Garza family. It's basically another dynasty of wrestlers.
Okay.
Family wrestlers from Mexico, and this you've seen Humberto Garza Jr. Just another lineage of insane talent. Man. But this match was pretty quick. He hit all his spots. It just
kind of served the purpose. Like,
if you weren't paying attention, it would have ended faster than you can say Humano ultramicroscopic siliconvullosis,
Dude, well, that's not speaking. Maybe quicker for you, but you could have like a 5-minute match and that'll still end before I can say that. Shoot, you have probably an Iron Man match and get it done before I could say that. What the hell, man?
So that ends. Then we cut to last week's main event. When Ariya Daivari
okay, I was about to say because this was the backstage segment, is what I caught with Daivari.
He cost Oney Lorcan the title match with a chair shot. So now we got a backstage interview. Daivari is just bloating at this point.
Daivari a good heel, man. Like
he's cuts a.
His cousin was he's got a brother, right? That was in a very
Daivari.
Yeah. Wasn't he the one that was in that controversial angle way back
with
when?
Mohammed Hassan?
Yeah. That's
they were getting death threats and everything.
Oh boy, man, that was a rough one. So I know where to connect him. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's very good with the mic, and he cuts a promo as only Daivari De Niro could, and that miscreant, that human goblin Lorcan, unprovoked, mind you, bashes
Human
Daivari.
goblin. He destroyed him, man. I was in the kitchen, man, making some food, and I just hear him going on. I was like, "How's it feel?" It's like, "How's it feel?" And I was like, "Oh my
Just
god!"
real, like a blood curdling. How does it feel?
Yeah, his voice is so unique. Oh my god, that caught me. I came running back in. I was like, "Dude, I'm obviously missing something." Oh man,
He'll get his for sure.
Lorcan's like one of those old school brawlers, man. You were to like look at just a picture of this guy, you wouldn't know what to make because he's a very generic looking guy. But his character is
started pretty much as enhancement talent, but the way he's done it is if he's gonna go out, as an enhancement talent, he's gonna make you earn that victory over him. So he'll bash you, he'll hit you hard, he'll go right at you, and you'll beat him or whatever, but you don't come out the same after fighting him for sure.
Now he was tagging with somebody not too long ago in NXT.
Yeah, Danny Burch. He's basically the same as him. Just a hard out, and then once they teamed up together, they've been on the cusp of winning that NXT Tag Team Championship for months now.
Okay, yeah, because they always caught my eye, but I always found myself. Well, for one, my NXT knowledge was just the takeovers. Like I'd watch the takeover, I'd watch all the promo packages, kind of fill the blanks here and there. So I wasn't really connecting with these mid-card talent, I think is what you would call them. And so when those multi-man tag matches came through, or even just the heads-up tag matches, typically I found myself cheering for the other team just because they were more familiar than Burch and Lorcan. But I still respected them. By all means, they were a lot of fun to watch.
They're like you said, a throwback to the old hard school hitting style for sure.
Yeah, you definitely have to watch them to understand what they're about. You're not going to look at a still image and have any idea what these guys are really capable of. And they're brutal, man. They are brutal. Speaking of brutal, steal your segue.
Well, we get a little heartwarming preview for the 365 Alexa Bliss special coming up on the WWE Network.
Yeah.
Those are always good. Say what you want. They always give you a behind-the-scenes look more as to what we don't normally see. And
I watched the Hardy Boys one. That was good. I liked that.
The Hardy Boys. Did you ever catch the Ali one?
No, the only one I've ever watched was the Hardy Boys.
Oh, bro, you gotta see the Ali one.
Okay.
That was so good. It ended basically. It ended with him almost unknowingly foreshadowing what was gonna happen at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Saying that he feels like he's gonna climb the ladder. He's gonna reach the briefcase, and I don't know why. I just have this feeling somebody from the bottom's gonna come pick me, pull me down, or some music's gonna hit. Somebody's gonna come in, and this was weeks before Money in the Bank, which they had no idea that Lesnar was gonna come in. And it was just
the talent wasn't even told the night of.
No,
they were told.
Nobody.
They were told that, look, the finish, Ali, you're gonna be reaching for the briefcase. Music's gonna hit.
Makes it even more bogus that they allowed him to believe he was gonna win.
Well, no. They told him. They told him that, look, someone's gonna come in, but they didn't tell him who. They pretty much explained the finish to him, but just didn't tell him it was Brock Lesnar. They just said, someone's gonna come in, essentially. But they did have Ali, if I remember correctly. I believe there was a period of time in that last week where they were talking to Ali like he was going to be the winner. And then,
so they can have that real reaction from him. I guess it's part of entertainment.
Part of like the process, yeah.
It's bold.
You know who didn't see it coming was that damn cameraman.
He took that ladder.
Oh my god, he took that ladder like a champ. Oh, it was good.
So we after we get that special, we cut to a promo by my homies, the Lucha House Party. in memory of Penelope, the piñata, who's the Singh brothers last week ripped the head off of it and traumatized children all over the world.
I gotta ask you, man, because of your heritage, what's your take on the Lucha House Party? I don't know if it's supposed to come across as slightly racist, or is that just, is it just character work like anybody else?
I personally view this one as character work. They're not really, they don't lean too much into the, they don't lean too much into the piñata. It's just mainly for the entrance or whatever.
Right.
But they're not over here, because they're not all, Lince Dorado is Puerto Rican, so they're not all Mexican, so they're not all going to do the sombrero, the stereotypical thing that we usually does with
Make them look like a mariachi band. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I just think it's character work.
Okay. No, because I was wondering. I can't be offended by it, but I was wondering.
It's not like we're going back to like the Mexicals or something like that.
Yeah, they come out on lawnmowers and shit. Oh my god.
On the Juan Deere's and everything. And janitors.
Oh, I so forgot about them.
It was a rough time.
Oh man, I don't know how. Looking back, it's amazing what WWE got away with and didn't get canceled.
Well, you had I don't know if you even remember the JBL feud with Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, no, there's so much. There's so
and Rey Mysterio.
much. Yeah.
He at one point on the border kicking people over.
I know. Now listen, I liked that. That was because
I can't even front. I can't even front. It's offensive as fuck, but that shit was funny.
Oh my god, yeah.
That shit was so funny.
Oh man, you couldn't do it with nobody else other than JBL. It's just you couldn't.
No,
man.
yeah, you hate it. Oh, we hated that guy so much.
Oh my god, yeah.
But yeah, so that was that. Shout out to Kalisto, who's also from the south side of Chicago. It's from the same area as me, so shout out to him.
Oh, sweet deal, sweet deal. Chicago got a lot of big people, man.
Coming up, man.
Yeah,
the best city for wrestling. I don't care what you say at me, all you want. I don't care. It's the best city for wrestling.
No, I mean, I can't really disagree with you. There's a select few cities, and Chicago's always in that argument. Like, you can never talk about best wrestling cities and not include Chicago in that. I completely agree. Like, absolutely.
We're the main event city. What can I say?
Yeah, man. I mean, and the crowd's always hot. That's the thing is Chicago's crowd always deliver. Like, the two towns that always stand out to me when I'm thinking hot crowd, and I don't know about talent because I'm not really familiar where everyone is from, but like hot crowd wise, Chicago and Philly. Like, those are some of the funnest places to put on a show because people are just rabid, dude. They are. I'll give them that.
And I have to say, people went ape shit for this last main event against Tony Nese and Akira Tozawa, #1 contenders match.
Hell yeah, this match was good.
Off their seats for this match, man. And it was, man, it started off, filling out process, counter after counter. Eventually, Nese gets, knocked out of the ring, ends up on the barricade on the top right, by the top right steps. Tozawa comes up on the apron, runs across the apron, onto the steps, and then delivers a senton. Lands on his
flipping senton.
Head.
Yeah, because he did that at the pay-per-view too. Like, he did that same spot at the pay-per-view where he leaps from essentially from the ring apron over the stairs, and the only thing that stops him from hitting the barrier is Tony Nese. Man, and he hit that. I think Tozawa's got like one of the best suicide dives because he so you look at Dean Ambrose, who's got like one of the weakest, and I hate to say it, and I know I'm gonna get some flack, or people are gonna say like, who? Moxley, okay? But normally you see guys, they do their suicide dive and they put their hands out, and the hands kind of cushion the contact. Like, but Tozawa, man, he just cocks his head to the side and he hits you with that shoulder, and it looks so dangerous, but man, it looks legit. I love it, man.
So definitely that's more the Japanese style of diving, head first, shoulders first. A lot of the lucha libre styles just go in and diving head first into the guy. Just vicious stuff. But then you, like as you alluded to, you have Moxley and Rollins who do a much more safer dive.
Yeah.
Regardless if they do it multiple times, it doesn't look as impactful as other people's dives for sure.
You know what I mean? You got to value safety too as well. So I'm not trying to like take a dump on their style. I mean, Those guys were wrestling 200 plus dates a year. I mean, for a while there, Moxley was wrestling more than any other superstar on the roster. I remember that made like huge news articles. Like
he had up to what, like 800 matches or something.
Yeah, like he had just an insane amount. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you have to be safe. You're gonna be doing that move multiple times, probably night in and night out. So yeah, not trying to take a dump on him.
They did not care about safety in this match because Nice was hitting hard. Every kick felt like it was in a concussed Tozawa.
Hell yeah, man.
There was a scary moment though as Tozawa goes for an octopus stretch. Nice powers out and delivers a side suplex. Barely got enough rotation on Tozawa, which he ends up landing on the high part of his shoulders, almost on his neck. It was a little bit of a scary moment. The ref goes on to check on him. He ends up being all right, but it was that kind of match. Like they were going all out, and the thing about this match was that every missed opportunity that Tozawa had in this match, Nice would counter with a combination of moves, and it would just be like it would go like that back and forth, and whoever was missing that opportunity was getting hit with various counters.
Well, yeah, at one point, Tony Nice had went for a sunset flip bomb on Tozawa off the ropes,
right.
but Tozawa held on to the top rope.
Yeah, Nice was down. Tozawa is ready to deliver his giant senton from the top rope. Nice rises, gives him a palm strike. So now they're down. Nice is going for that superplex. Tozawa counters with the sunset bomb, but Nice holds on to and rolls down. And as he's rolling down, Tozawa holds on to him and is in to go for a roll up. But Nice counters that, powers up, and is getting ready to give him an Alabama slam. And then Tozawa grabs the ropes for 2 seconds. 2 seconds, which got him enough time, enough delay to reverse that into what
nasty Canadian
Great White
Destroyer.
North, the nastiest Canadian Destroyer. Nice lands on his head with that Canadian Destroyer.
Oh my god, it's so good.
He still kicks out. They battle back and forth again. Tozawa goes for another giant senton, misses again. Nice picks him up, strikes him with another. Every hit, man, it just sounds like baseball bats and it's on metal.
Dude, at one point Tozawa was going for what looked like an armbar or a triangle, and Nice powers him up. Like, so we've seen the spot where where a guy, someone has a guy like rolled up and their feet are on their shoulders, and during the pin they lift him up for like a power bomb. This was pretty much the same thing, but Nice does it one-armed. Like literally one arm, only gets the second arm in when Tozawa's like fully hoisted up, and he power bombs him into the freaking ring apron. Or no, excuse me, the turnbuckle.
The bottom turnbuckle.
Oh my god, it looks so good. I'm so happy, man. I'm watching 205 Live now. I'm not even kidding,
man.
Dude.
So then, as you said, he power bombs him into the bottom turnbuckle, pretty much knocks him out. He goes for the cover, 1, 2, and then Tozawa, using that ring awareness, happens to get his leg on the rope for the 2 count. Nice does not waste any time, goes in for his finisher, the running knees, only to get countered with a super kick. Tozawa goes for the count, kick 1, 2. No, it's not enough. What is it going to take for these guys to...
Dude, Nice went for that running Nice, which usually puts guys away, and I don't know like how Tozawa, like anybody could be so fast, but Nice went for that running Nice, and Tozawa gets to his feet and gets behind him and does a German suplex, which there's no way to like accurately describe this, at least in my books, but it happens so fast. And I love it too. I love like the Japanese version of German suplex, because they practice like a transition to your back instead of like your traditional like Brock Lesnar always has your back. I noticed that like Japanese wrestlers will transition from your front to your back instantly and in snapping the suplex, making it look even better. I love it, dude. I love it so much. All right, so.
Yeah, then Tozawa throws Nice into the corner. He's gonna charge at him. Nice super kicks him. Talking about German suplexes, delivers a viciously nasty German suplex onto Zawa into the bottom turnbuckle. So again, 1, 2, and it's not even enough.
Yeah.
They get up, they go another back and forth, just striking each other. Tozawa goes for a head scissors roll up, but midway, Nice grabs his legs and just jumps down onto his, just collapses. 1, 2, 3. That's it. It's over.
Finally
Nice
got him.
is the number 1 contender. Title match against Drew Gulack at Extreme Rules, and hopefully this is not a pre-show match. 205 Live deserves to be on the main roster, on the main card. I'm just saying.
No, you're right, and a lot of people I know agree with the sentiment, and yeah, it does. I'm just wondering what it's gonna take to get them on the main card. It feels like right now their pay-per-views, they just, for the pre-show, it's always a throwaway tag match and a 205 Live match. And typically, sometimes even, you'll have the tag titles on the pre-show, in which case you know they're not changing hands. Like those,
Right.
yeah, it's. But I hear you, man. Shoot, 205 Live guys, match. If you were to base it on match quality, they deserve to be the main event. You know what I mean? It's
Easily, you want time for 205? Easily, just get rid of Shane get rid of Shane. You have your time for your matches right there.
yeah.
'Cause nobody
dude.
is paying to see this dude wrestle. You know,
Yeah.
nobody's here paying tickets, $50, $80, $100 for this guy.
Yeah, I would like to hear like that one guy, that one person who says, you know, like, hey man, why you buy in tickets for the show? He's like, oh man, Shane's gonna be on the show. I gotta see him. Like, I need to pick that dude's brain. I want to pick that guy's brain, man. What is it? You know, and for a minute there, Rob's a fan. He says he likes him.
Yeah, but will he pay a ticket to go see him?
Yeah. Is Shane
That's the
what's
question.
drawing you to the show? But Rob says that it's the coast to coast. That's what gets Rob. Because he says that nobody else does it in WWE, and he's true. The only other person I even know that did it was Rob Van Dam.
Well, to be fair, if we're comparing that, RVD would actually reach the guy at the other end. This dude is falling on his back before his.
Yeah, Shane
like,
looks like he takes the bigger hit whenever he does that. Like,
almost concusses himself every time.
I much prefer his elbow drop to the announce table on the outside. I like that. I think that's the prettier of his two moves. But yeah, so Rob,
that was 205 Live. Man.
that was, man, 205 Live, man, delivered like you said it would. Onto NXT, man. Here we had the big match of NXT, which we'll be diving into, was Io Shirai going for the women's NXT belt yet again against Shayna Baszler, man. And I'm telling you, that was a pay-per-view quality match, but I'll let you get us through the other matches to get us to that promised land.
So NXT, they do everything different. They had a lot of I guess you would call them rookies, whatever, even though they're not rookies. They got a lot of people new to NXT and as you see, there's not always time to put everybody on TV. You know, someone always gets lost in the shuffle, whatever. So what they decided to do was to have a tournament, a breakout tournament, pretty much for all those guys who have yet to have had TV time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we start off this match with Joaquin Wilde versus Angel Garza, and I'm sure
Angel,
this is your
Angel
first
looks
time
like a
seeing
cross
her.
between a Power Ranger and like Shredder from Ninja Turtles or something, man. Like this dude, this guy would be right at home at like an EDM concert, man. I'm telling you. But his gear was hot though. I'm not trying to like I said, take a dump on it.
Nobody else has that, man.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that Ali's entrance gear is close to it, you know, because that's who I didn't fully believe it was Ali, but that's who jumped out to me. I was like, man, that looks just like Ali.
And then, well, this match is if you're not familiar with these two guys, they really showcase what they can do. With the early standoffs, back and forth, you know, everyone hitting their trademark spots. Wild with a unique bounce and counter arm drag off the ropes. I hadn't seen before as much wrestling as I watch. I have never seen that before. Garza hits his trademark spot, and as he comes in with wearing these red, white, and green Mexican color pants, whatever, he rips them off to the tightest wrestling trunks you'll ever see.
Oh my god!
Everybody pops and they go wild for it, and it was just back and forth, man.
I hadn't heard people pop for trunks before until recently when Okada did it. Because I came into Okada while he was wearing pants.
Oh, when he brought the pants out?
Yeah. So
people hated the pants.
I guess so. I didn't know, man. So I saw that match. I can't remember who it was, but it was after obviously he had lost the belt to Omega.
Yeah.
And he came out and he was challenging someone, and he was kind of returning to that prime Okada form instead of that offshoot where he dyed his hair red and had a balloon. But yeah, and he took off his garb and revealed that he was in trunks, and then the crowd went nuts. And I was like, "Why, dude?" I was like, "What's going on, man?" Like, I was like, "What is?" He's just wearing wrestling gear, and I was later informed that that's like classic gear of Okada and Japanese people. They're just, I guess, man.
I don't even know what to compare it to. That'd be like if you always seen Bret Hart in the pink and black. You know, he's wrestling in some others.
I'm gonna stop you right here. I'm never gonna get excited to see Bret Hart, even prime Bret Hart.
I'm trying to think of someone's iconic gear that you see them for so long with it.
How about like the Hardy Boys when they came back at WrestleMania a couple years ago?
Back into their original.
And they re-debuted as like Team Extreme after, you know, being Brother Nero and Broken Matt. Like that made me pop huge. I mean, but that was more for the return. But I mean, you could probably roll in there that it was also classic Hardys as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. So going from classic back and forth, future past, let's get into the present.
Yeah.
So
man.
As while the guards are they're battling down, Garza ends up on the ringside. Wild's gonna go for a dive. Garza moves out towards the center of the ring. Wild comes up on the side of it and runs through the middle of the side of the ropes by the turnbuckle and delivers a big dive onto Garza. If you've seen the matches with Sami Zayn in NXT, when he would do the dive from the bottom of the floor through the ring ropes
into the tornado DDT,
something similar, but from the top rope from the middle rope onto a dive. They get back into the ring. Garza recovers, and they end up on the top turnbuckle, going for a suplex. Wild counters. Garza delivers the nastiest Spanish fly you're gonna see in a while. They got so much height on that.
What's your take on the Spanish fly, by the way? What's your take on that move?
Me personally, it's just like, okay, if you're gonna be,
it's more or less just an excuse to show off that you both can be really flippy.
Listen, if to me, when I watch like wrestlers of like Mexican heritage or wrestler heritage, they always have a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker and they always have a Spanish fly. Yeah, it's just a nod. It's just one of our things, I guess. I don't know.
No, I mean it's cool.
You don't see it often.
It's
that's what makes.
I think it's one of those moves that it's like the Canadian Destroyer that you have to have a suspension of disbelief.
Well, I mean, if you look at it like that, then even when someone grabs them and throws them to the ropes, why do they keep running? You know, like
exactly.
Everything. The whole thing falls apart.
You're absolutely right. Pretty much all of pro wrestling, once you start applying logic, it does start to fall apart. That's just, like I said, I don't hate the move. It's just one of those moves that jumps out to me, but they always look pretty. And I'll give like one more that I do like is Cedric Alexander's got a Spanish fly that he does whipping something into the ropes, and when they return to him, he hits the Spanish fly right there on the ground.
Off the ground.
Yeah, I always thought that was
crazy.
Pretty cool. Yeah. But go on, man. Go on. I'm sorry. Spanish fly always sticks out to me.
It only gets a 2 count. They battle back and forth. Wild tries for a roll up, but eats a big kick to the face. That was all Garza needed to finish him with a underhook. I guess it was like an underhook jawbreaker. I'm not sure. I haven't seen this move too often.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was an underhook jawbreaker.
Lands on a pretty solid match, I think. They both really showcased what they could do.
You wouldn't call it like an upset because they both looked really good.
It took me back to the days when NXT was barely getting into its ground and everybody had something to prove and every match was just insane. This took me back to, and if this is just round one, so if these guys started the tournament this way, I could only imagine what the next people are going to do in the later round, especially with the talents they have in this tournament. If you are coming into NXT for the first time, this is definitely a good way to start.
Oh, absolutely. You know what amazes me too, because so many established stars and big stars come through that it could feel like they overshadow a good portion of the NXT roster, and then like the stars obviously get called up because you can only be so big for so long before Vince is going to take note and pull you up. And it seems like every time that they do that and you feel like the roster would be depleted because the big stars get called up, man, people filled those spots right away. Like NXT is so consistent with the ability that even the biggest names, when you're calling them up, other people are just there. They fill those roles fluently, and they step up and become stars. Like the Street Profits were off my radar forever, and then all the big tag teams start getting called up, and now the Street Profits are gonna be like some of the funnest people to watch, and they're believable tag champions.
They've come a long way, man.
Yeah. You're gonna have to fill me in on the Forgotten Sons, though. That's a tag team that I've heard the name a lot, but I know nothing about.
I personally, they're not my cup of tea. Don't care too much.
So their name suits them. Forgettable.
Well, they just come off very generic. There's nothing really special about them.
I mean, the name itself is pretty generic.
Right, Jackson Riker.
Riker gets some booze though. I remember him at the takeover, the last takeover. His whole sequence, man, where he just destroyed everybody. He got a lot of heat. I mean, and then the crowd popped when all the tag teams like teamed up and beat him down in unison.
Well, I think nobody wanted to see that match end the same way Money in the Bank ended.
Yeah,
with just a guy interfering, and then that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's very true.
But then you have what's his name? Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake. Wesley Blake was in a tag team with Buddy Murphy, Alexa Bliss, and NXT as tag team champions. But they've all three of them kind of floundered on the, as you see, if you step your foot off the gas pedal, that people pass you up in NXT.
Oh,
there's always talent coming in. You don't want to get injured. If you get injured, people pass you up. They'll still give you a shot, but it's a lot harder to come back from that.
Is Wesley Blake? Was he formerly with Murphy, Buddy Murphy? Was it Blake and Murphy?
It was both of them.
So that's the same guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's been thrown into different tag teams here and there.
Oh boy, that means he's been down there for a long time.
Yeah. Nothing's really hit. Same thing with Steve Cutler. Just basically enhancement talent or whatever you want to call them, journeyman or whatever you want to call them.
There's no guarantees down there, that's for sure. Like,
no,
you're given a hell of a good platform, but it's definitely not a guarantee.
Right. At the end of the day, if you don't connect with the people, because the NXT crowd, they give everybody a shot.
I was just about to say, man, it's Full Sail, right?
Yeah.
They really do give you a shot to get behind you, man. They're a very giving crowd.
The only exception was Elias.
Yeah,
they just wanted nothing to do with him. He was terrible at NXT, but for whatever reason, once he gets to the main roster, he explodes.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that though too, man. Because not saying there's no characters down in NXT, but Elias is not really well known for his in-ring work. It's his character, and the main card fans are much more adapt to characters coming through. And so I could see it. I mean, but he is a rare exception. You would think that this would happen more often, but he is really the only one that comes to mind where Full Sail and NXT crowds wanted nothing to do with him, but he hits main card and just blew up, man.
even if we look at a guy like Angelo Dawkins, again, started off pretty much as enhancement talent. People didn't care too much for him. Just kind of floundered here and there. And once he teamed up with Montez Ford and they became the Street Profits, like they found something there. They elevated everything to a point where, as you see now, they're the tag team champions. People are going nuts for them. They cut a promo, telling people they're the champions, basically celebrating and everything. And mid promo, that's when the Forgotten Sons come in, and Street Profits, being the fighting champions that they are, decide to put the title on the line, shut these guys up, and let's have a match.
Right. Yeah, man.
Match is pretty much going in the favor of Profits until Jackson Riker intervenes, hits Montez Ford, just DQs them. They just start beating up on the Street Profits, which I guess makes sense if you want to blow your title opportunity, whatever. They start beating on them. Lorcan and Danny Burch come in to make the save, beat them up. Forgotten Sons, they start backtracking, and as they're walking back, they're barking or whatever. And then this was a weird shot to me, but Steve Cutler, instead of walking back with the rest of the guys, walks forward a bit, and then it's when this Jackson Riker pulls his hair like a scolded dog and brings him back. It was just a weird. It was not a good look.
Yeah. So you say like Riker is not really he's not really polarizing. Like, you don't find yourself loving or hating this guy. Do you find more apathy for him and his character?
I could care less about his character. I feel like them as a tag team with Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler, I feel like they have much more to offer than the whole Strowman type of character. Just strong monsters over everybody, unstoppable. That doesn't do anything for me. That doesn't get my juices flowing.
Well, Strowman was at his hottest when they were letting his character flourish, like singing on the giant bass guitar, and destroying sets. It was stupid, but it was good. But,
as with everything, they dip too much into something until they milk it completely.
I think
he's like a comedy.
But I think there was more to it than that. I didn't find so much that the character. I mean, granted, the destruction and then was getting a little played out, but I think it was the fact that, when someone peaks in popularity, you gotta pull the trigger, because they're not.
That type of character that is just so dominant that nobody's gonna ever beat them. They're never gonna lose. They barely end up on their back. Like,
yeah.
That to me is that's kind of boring.
You become a joke though after a while too. I mean, it doesn't matter that you're a monster anymore. I mean, look what happened to Big Show. Big Show, logic-wise, should have never lost a match ever. You know what I mean? But then eventually he's losing to everybody. And yeah, and Strowman's not in that boat yet. But it wouldn't surprise me in a couple of years that Strowman is freaking enhancement talent for other people.
That's a hot take.
I'm telling you, man.
So the Burch and Lorcan grab the titles, give them back to the Street Profits, and tell them, we just saved you. You guys owe us one. Potentially setting up something up. Maybe a triple threat. Maybe a two-way. Who knows where that's
going. I'm thinking
going.
a triple threat. Here comes my match. Like, dude, I love Keith Lee, dude.
Keith Lee
is the man.
Okay, time out.
Yeah.
What the fuck was this other guy wearing?
Yeah, that is a little.
What the fuck was
that? Just screams that I want no future career on television. Like, it's like a
shiny leather, man.
It's like, so you have like
latex,
and it has a sleeve. Like, it is the weirdest. Oh my god!
It looked like somebody picked this outfit from like a created character from 2K or something.
It's pretty much like it was like if it was supposed to be a bodysuit, but then they cut out like one shoulder and arm, and then the opposite leg, but then left the full arm going down to the opposite leg. It was like a giant banner. Like, I don't know, man. It was so weird and very off-putting. Very off-putting.
Nikos Rios was another guy that has not made TV, was going to be in the tournament, but again, there's only so much space for so much people. So
this was his debut TV match too.
Right. Yeah, so he gets paired up against Keith Lee, and he just gets annihilated. that pounce that he so
Killed him too. Why didn't they put Keith Lee in the Royal Rumble and have him pounce someone out the ring? Like, why have they not done that spot yet? Like, that needs to be done next January.
pounce onto the ring.
Yeah, have him pounce.
And if they
someone.
want to be safe, they can have a bunch of people outside
Already.
But they're not. But now we saw that in the Battle Royal with Ace Romero in AEW.
Yeah, but see, that's why I wanted it done this year, because before Keith got signed, there was a video, one of his last indie dates.
Mm-hmm.
He did that spot. He pounced him out the ring, and so a lot of people were calling for him to be in the Royal Rumble that year, or this year, to do that spot. But now you're right. If next year, if they pull it off, well, depending on how far removed we are from, Double or Nothing, because it was Double or Nothing's Battle Royal, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So depending on how far removed that is from everyone's memory, I don't know if it'll that's the reaction. I think it'll still feel fresh.
This guy, Nikos, he gets pounced and he goes flying into the second rope, just ragdolls into it, collapses on the floor. The ref has to actually check on him to make sure this guy's not knocked out, because it looked nasty.
Oh man.
He's fine, and maybe it's just me, maybe I noticed it or whatever, but I see the referee's reaction. She's trying her hardest not to laugh, because this was the way he flew and just collapsed. It was hilarious.
Oh, what's your take on Keith Lee when he goes to main card? I hate to say it, but I think he gets lost in the shuffle, man.
I don't see how he can get lost into the shuffle being that big. If anything, by the time he gets up there,
look at Mark Henry. Yeah, look at Mark Henry, man. Arguably similar body type, both really strong. Mark Henry doesn't have the athleticism that Lee has. I know they're very different in-ring styles. But Mark Henry is another guy that was similarly built, looks like an absolute monster, and yeah, never really got his big moment. I mean, he eventually got the world championship, but it's arguably
the Hall of Pain run was
one of the
and
best
look at
how long it took to get there, though.
Yeah, true.
And Mark Henry, I don't know if you remember, but when Mark Henry was initially signed, he had the biggest contract that WWE ever did. I think it was like something like 10 years, like a 10-year contract, And I don't think at any point in those 10 years that he got the world title. It wasn't until after that. So I don't know, man. I mean, Keith Lee, I'm not trying to take away from him, because I'm not trying to say that I ain't high on him. No, Keith Lee is amazing to me. Well, I'm just wondering if he'll get used correctly.
I'll say this: if Dusty Rhodes spoke highly of this guy and put him on a high pedestal, then I gotta believe that's gotta mean something.
Yeah. And then who knows, with the recent news of Bischoff and Heyman, more or less Heyman, taking over director roles in Raw and SmackDown, and then, like I said, I have a hunch that Vince is going to be stepping away within 1, maybe 2 years.
One would hope so.
One would really hope so. That at that point we'll start seeing these guys getting used more according to their character and their capabilities.
Right. So then pretty much at the end of this match, it's a squash match.
Absolutely.
Keith Lee, prior to his injury, used a powerbomb finish. He was calling it the Spirit Bomb. Now coming back from his injury, I'm assuming this is his new finish, which he now calls the Limit Breaker. It's a much more polished version of a power slam than something like Strowman is doing.
Yeah.
Just much more polished, but again, Lee, I feel like he's got a high ceiling for sure.
Oh, absolutely! Like you could throw the world title on this guy.
The only thing that happened with this, him and Dijak, I don't know, they had
I saw the gifts.
Rivalry. They had a feud going, man. It would have been one of the better feuds. I honestly believe. They could have honestly had like a best of 7 series. Their matches are that good. Then you have Lee going down with injury. Dijak Jenna now is without a rival, trying to own. Lee comes back and now Dijak's hurt. So we never got that feud that they were setting up to.
Because they had a match or two, and I remember one match. I didn't watch it in full, but I saw it was they chopped it up into like a million gifs.
There was so much going on. Man.
Yeah, of them showing off like cruiserweight spots. Like Lee did the Osprey, or if you're more familiar with WWE, the Rollins spot, where they goes for like where Osprey was getting like hurricanrana off the top rope and he lands on his feet, but these guys are too big to obviously pull that off. So his name is Dijak, right? Am I saying
Dijak?
That?
Yeah,
Dijak goes for a monkey flip where he grabs Lee's hands. Dijak jumps up in the air, props his feet on Lee's hips, rolls through to flip Lee onto his back, which is what would happen a million times in a row because Lee is almost, he's got to be close to 300 pounds. But Lee is able to flip through and land on his feet. And it's just, oh my God, man. Like when you see that, it stands out. It stands out, man. So good. And I hope that feud can happen, man. Hopefully Dijak ain't out too long. And these guys can really have a defining feud with more of those moments, because then they can just be part of highlight reel after highlight reel, and that'll do wonders for you.
Yeah, man. And now we're going into wonders. Is it any wonder that this is the first NXT women's cage match in the history of NXT?
Is it really?
Yep. And it's Io Shirai versus Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. We cut to them, getting ready backstage, whatever. And in a nice touch of detail, this being such a big match, we have Shayna Baszler putting on her MMA gloves.
Okay. So I missed this one. You're gonna walk me through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we get into this match, man. And it's a relentless assault that Io Shirai is put under by Baszler. She's just pounding her, rib shots, face shots, just not holding back with any of her punches. At one point, Baszler sends her into the cage face first, and back first, and she's just overwhelming her with her power advantage. Shirai comes back with a very weak comeback, and it wasn't enough to take down the Queen of Spades, and she just keeps bringing her down.
That is the thing about Baszler, is she's kind of like the closest to like a female Brock Lesnar, man, in the fact that her health bar is like triple the entire other roster. Like she can take anything. You can't really put her away without like a shock pin. Like a roll up or something. I don't recall the last time that she was just flat out pinned due to being put down. Although I know it's happened, it has to have happened. But
Shirai starts her comeback, hits her with 2 drop kicks, gives her a double knees to her back, then a German suplex, just a combination of the onslaught, but still only a 2 count. And the fight continues. They get up on top. Now they're on the turnbuckles, and Shirai hits a vicious German suplex from the top rope onto Baszler.
Nice.
Just collapses her onto the ground.
A top rope, like a super German?
Yeah.
That's dangerous as hell. Suplex. Oh my God.
Drops her on there. Now she starts crawling to the cage. They open the door. She's gonna escape, and then Baszler's buddies, Marina Shafir and Justin Duke, appear out of nowhere.
Like they always do.
Start blocking the official, blocking the door so she can't get out. And then the door gets kicked out, ends up taking out the referee on the outside, ends up taking out Justin Duke. Marina Shafir is knocked down. But so she's going for the. Then what's her name? Shirai starts climbing the cage. She's gonna escape from that cage. Then Marina Shafir comes up from the outside, impeding her from just getting out. as Jessamine Duke locks the door. So then we have Candice LeRae come in to make the save.
Yeah, Mr. Johnny Gargano's wife there, man.
Yeah, man. Wipes out Duke, kicks Shafir off the cage. Then we have Jessamine Duke get into the ring, trying to help Baszler up, and we get a crossbody dive from Candice LeRae from the top of the cage.
From the top?
From the top of the
Jesus,
cage,
man.
Onto Jessamine Duke, taking her out.
I can't wait to watch this match. Like,
man, you gotta see.
No, the second you said a German from the top rope, I'm like, yeah. I'm throwing this on after the show goes off the air.
Then we get then Baszler takes out Candice LeRae with a knee. She's recovering, getting into the center of the ring, and all while this is going on, without hesitation, without looking back, not one single time, Io Shirai just randomly dives into a diving moonsault without ever once turning around. Baszler's right in the middle of the ring, catches it from the top of the cage, just taking out.
Oh wait, she moonsault from the top of the cage?
From the top of the cage,
like Angle would. Oh my god!
She never turned around. She never, not once. She just went for it. Trusted that Baszler would be where she needed to be, and it was executed to perfection.
Damn, man, Shirai is legit, man. I see she's got a huge following online.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, Io Shirai is legit, dude.
So then she starts trying to crawl. You can't just run through the door anymore. I guess you got to crawl through the door.
Yeah, apparently. Open. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the same thing when you climb a ladder. All of a sudden, your legs have lost all life in them.
Right. So she's crawling towards it, whatever. She's about to get out when Baszler resurrects and grabs her foot, starts applying a chokehold on her. She's gonna pass out. She can't go anywhere. So the only option she had was to grab the cage door and start slamming it into Baszler's head.
Oh, I saw a clip of that too. I did see that
about
clip.
4 or 5 slams. Baszler lets go. She's pretty much knocked out at this point and collapses and falls out into the ring, winning the match.
So Baszler got essentially knocked out, but fell like
out into the ring.
Nice.
Won the match. Everybody was shocked. Nobody saw that coming.
And then
so they cheer and they get out while they can. She at that point the referee hands her the belt. She didn't even know that she won the match. She was just as shocked as
she's selling it.
Right.
Nice.
Right. So they get out. They go out of the ring. Candice LeRae is trying to console Io Shirai, and Io Shirai just snaps.
Yeah, see, this I heard about this.
Just started beating down Candice LeRae. She was like, "Oh, my bad. I was just frustrated. Sorry." Gets out of the ring, starts thinking about it for a second.
It's like
goes, gets to the chair and just starts going to slam down on Candice LeRae, just beating her, just snap.
Yeah, love it when they do that, man. I love it when someone snaps.
I'm assuming she was. I don't speak Japanese. I'm assuming she more along the lines just telling her to stop getting involved in her matches. She doesn't need her. She lost because of her. I don't need you. I don't need a friend. I could win this on my own. And just goes off on a rant. Whoever taunting the crowd. Oh yeah, boo me, cheer more. Just walks out to a chorus of boos.
Nice.
Unexpected. If you have not watched spoilers, I don't think anyone would have expected that kind of heel turn.
Yeah, I mean, she was a pretty vanilla babyface. Seemed like one of those people that hard to picture as heel. So like,
well, if you're familiar with Lucha Underground, then you could see the heel work that Io Shirai and Kairi Sane have done.
Really, Kairi Sane too?
Yep.
I'm gonna have to, man. You're gonna have to give me like a couple like matches or something, you know, like just like message me like, hey, check out this match from Lucha Underground, you know, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, definitely, and I'll check them out for sure.
What was your thoughts on this NXT?
Well, like I said, unfortunately, I missed the second half. Like, so the Keith Lee match and the cage match, I missed them, but I read up on them on the reviews and everything, and it's pay-per-view quality stuff that they're producing. Like this cage match, you could have easily inserted into a takeover, and it would have fit right in. It would have been just fine. It hits all the beats. Crowd's always hot, man. Like I said, I'm stoked. I ain't gonna ramble too on like fluffing it up. It has me excited to add the 2 additional hours of wrestling content to every week, and then doing the show with you, man. Having, like I said, you educating me, you letting me know. I had no idea EO was in Lucha Underground, and it's awesome. And like I said, in 205 Live, that legitimately shocked me. Like that, I was kind of doing stuff on the computer. I have a dual monitor set up, so I'm doing stuff on one screen while I got 205 Live playing on the other, so that at least I can say I watched it. But then by the main event, I forgot all about what I was doing on the first screen, and I was glued to the main event of 205 Live, which I thought 205 Live would have been the tougher one of the two to watch. And it was actually super easy to digest. And I think NXT probably would have been too if it wasn't for the fact that I had, like I said, a bunch of errands and other things I had to handle. So I'm stoked, man.
Once I send you these matches, like from Lucha Underground, you had Pentagon Dark, which is Pentagon Junior, versus the Black Lotus Triad, which is, I'm telling you, man, this match is insane.
Like I said, I'll give it a look over, and then we can like touch on it next week on our next episode.
But I'm pumped that finally somebody's talking about 205 Live. Finally, somebody is putting it on the pedestal it needs to be on.
Right, because the only people that come to mind, for me, and I don't watch a ton of podcasts, but is Going in Raw, Steven Larson. They're doing the same. They're doing the same thing what I'm doing. It's the inspiration of bunching it with NXT.
Yeah, but they're not doing it like us. So this is the one spot you want to be in for 205 Live reviews.
Yeah, this is the one spot, man. They have enough followers, okay? But
they're cool. They're cool with 5,000, 50,000 followers, whatever they got. That's fine. That's cool. That's all nice, whatever. But this is the real stuff. You want the real
You want
NXT,
the real nitty gritty.
The real 205 Live.
No,
this is where it needs to be.
But like I was gonna say, thinking about it, the other big names like What Culture and what are Cultaholic, they're only covering NXT. If I think about it, I don't think they're doing nothing on it. So, yeah, man, this is the little spot, man. And I'm glad we're doing it, bro. I'm glad we're doing it because you're right, no one else is doing it.
Hell yeah, man.
Well, that's gonna do it for our show this week. Benji, awesome. Thank you for walking me through once again, man. I'm stoked to continue watching. My name is Kyle. You can find me once again at the Kai Tai Show on Twitter. I'm gonna let Benji close us out, man, since he walked us through the whole night.
You can catch me at Talavera Comedy on Twitter, YouTube, Under the Bridge, Instagram, all over the place. I'm all over. You can also catch me at your local shows. Come to Chicago. Come to a comedy show. Come on.
I was about to say, yeah. Where do you? Because you perform live stand-up, man. Where do you perform?
I do. I'm all over the place. I'm not set to anything. Check out hit me up. You know what? Hit me up. I'll tell you. And just to clarify, you were not the guy on America's Got Talent, right? I was not that guy. That was not me.
That was not you. All right.
But yeah, so definitely stay tuned. You want real reviews. You want real recaps. Real funny shit. You gotta check out the Smack Raw pod. Check out the Raw reviews. Check out the SmackDown reviews. 205 Live, NXT. Who knows? We're covering everything at this point.
Our next show we're gonna be covering actually is gonna be Fyter Fest too. So
Fyter Fest coming up, which was the Moxley Janela match was just changed to a unsanctioned match. So this is gonna be a death match at this point.
It's gonna be as close to a death match as AEW will allow. So, or it might be full blown. It might be full blown.
I need the blood.
It might. I'm sure that they'll have some blood, but yeah, we'll figure it out. We're gonna have to find out if Rob's gonna be joining us or not. I think Rob will be joining us for that one.
Then if anybody is on Twitter, you could check RobRude out at 2 words can't see me, and make sure you guys tell Baron Corbin to keep him blocked.
Yeah, keep him blocked, man. I don't know if Rob's listening to our podcast, so we'll let it out here.
Like,
tell Baron Corbin to keep him blocked, and then try to get Lacey Evans to block him too.
nah, Rob's cool, people.
Yeah, Rob's awesome. Rob's great, dude.
Baron Corbin. If of course Baron Corbin listens to this, because who doesn't listen to the Smack Raw podcast? Our listeners of 7 people. Listen, if you're listening to this, and I know you are,
Yeah.
give the dude a shot. He's come around. He sees how amazing you are.
I think you might be stretching it with amazing. But anyways, folks, that's our show. Y'all have a great evening. We'll catch you next time. Bye.